So this is a brief video to go over a concept called naive or preliminary research. I like the term naive because it just means, you're not overly committed. You're just going out there to search. I also like to call it naive because, it talks a little bit about lack of experience. And when we just want to find out about stuff, we're just surfing the web. So that's another reason, thinking about it as just a first attempt. But in the context of learning about how to do research, I think we might want to consider how we just look up things every day in our lives, on our phones, or what have you. And we can transfer some of that just everyday looking into something that we can use when we actually have to do research for some sort of task. So on the left page, there's some notes, here, the idea of, okay, so you have to do some research. And one of the ways to even get started doing research is just figure out what are the terms or vocabulary words associated with what you're doing. And so I have, naive, preliminary, and just research. And then I literally just went online to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary and define some of these terms. So I just have them in my head for the terms that I'm using. And in this case, I've highlighted additional words in the definitions of the terms I looked up that I might need to look up. And then I've highlighted things that are important to me. So in looking up just what research means, I decided I need to look up systematic and investigation. And after doing all that, investigation, what I can understand and appreciate the most is inquiry. So that's what I'm going to use when I'm thinking about doing research as a plan to inquire about something, hopefully so that I can come up with some new conclusion and or some discoveries. So that helps me just figure out what I'm doing. So this right here is an example of naive or preliminary research, just defining words so you can get a handle on the definition that work best for you. Okay, so the topic ideas that I'm considering, they have to do with different kinds of literacy. And so I know basic literacy like reading and writing, but if I just type in, and people, you type in things all the time into Google. So use that as a way to actually try to investigate some things. So this would be, an example of naive or preliminary research. So different kinds of literacy. Now I'm just going to say literacy and see what I get. So all these different kinds of literacy. Oh, and some of them I have on my list already for potential topic ideas. And so I just typed in different kinds of literacy and I see there's some and there are more. And from talking to other people and just the stuff that I'm interested in, I already know that I am leaning towards this thing that has to do with information. And so I know that I'm going to be interested. I know I'm interested in information literacy. And so that is an example of just going from some loose topics to a potential specific topic. And then I'm going to ask some questions about it. So I know I need to find out more. So I'm going to need to know what is information literacy. So my first question was, what are these, or what are different kinds of literacies? And so I did that list and I came up with information literacy. So my second question is going to be around that topic of that specific question is going to be around information literacy. So that's what I have. What is information literacy? What is information literacy and why is it important? So that's how I just use some talking to people, things that I've read, and just looking up things on the internet with naive research to come up with a potential question. All right, so now I have this question, and now I need to find out more information. And so one of the things I know I'm going to need to do is define these terms. So I definitely just want to look up like, okay, so what is information literacy? So I just want to do a naive research, just type that in and see what I get. Because I just want a basic idea, like information literacy meaning, definition, skills, examples. So I would stop right here, either take a screenshot of this information, and then I can then come back later and literally just scan what I get when I look at these different endings for the phrase information literacy. But right now, I just want a general, like, what is information literacy? And then look, here's a guide for students. So I'm like, oh, maybe information literacy, whatever it is important for students. And I think I have one of those questions. All right, so I have a question about who else could I talk to about information literacy? So I could talk to students, other students. Let's see. I can probably try to find out how other people define information literacy, and by those people, that could be students. So I got here the definitions. People, what kind of people? Students. So that's one. So, and then I can start a brainstorm, then probably teachers, maybe parents. I could add all that, like what kind of people are interested in this, defining my people just by getting that one clue. And I also just want a general like definition of this term. So I'm going to try to pick something that is just, give me some information. All right. Of course, no one wants us to use Wikipedia, but I'm going to see if it gives me just a general definition. And I'm like, all right, look, information literacy defines, information literacy is a set of, so I have some information here that defines it. And apparently this is defined by an organization. So I might just like copy all of this so that I can go back to that organization later and get more information. So, but according to this one organization, here's one definition of information literacy. So I definitely want to define it here. And then I'll just, because I'm just doing quick research. So I'm just going to say, hey, this is my Wikipedia def, and I'm going to copy that page and I'm going to add it to my document. So when I have time, I can come back later and read through what Wikipedia has to say. And I had some other things here. Let's see. Oh, this is actually from that organization because I literally just saw Wikipedia cite them. So I can go specifically to that actual organization, see their definition. Now I know Wikipedia wasn't lying. And then I'm going to add that too, because that's the actual source. So I'm like, all right, I'm just collecting, hopefully really collecting some sources to help me understand some things about my topic. And this is basically an example for how you do some naive preliminary research that is low risk. I'm thinking about, so yeah, that's my one example. So I can do that just on the internet. Remember that whole list of different endings for information literacy? Then I can go back and look at some of those things. So if I do information literacy, it was meaning. Let's see if I do this definition. I saw that one earlier, but I didn't record it. But maybe I do want to think about it in terms of students. So that is my quick 2 cents about how to do some quick naive research just to get you going as you think about narrowing down and getting into, let me go back to my definitions, narrowing down and focusing your research so that you can develop a plan, a fixed plan with a purpose and some direction. So now that I just have those few things, I can at least read about what my topic is, and then I can come back and then try to answer some of the questions. So yeah, hope this video has been helpful.